Alright guys, in today's video we are talking more about the PlayStation 5 reveal event, but today I have three pieces of information that I want to take some time to go over and relay to you because I think it gives us a pretty good general understanding of what exactly we can expect at this event. A lot of people are wondering how hyped should they be for this, how big is it going to be, and the general rule of thumb is just keep your expectations in check. Don't get overly hyped, and that's not why I'm making this video. I don't want anybody to get overly hyped, but there's no doubt that some of this information is pretty telling, and I think it's okay to feel pretty excited about what's about to go down. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is how Sony is planning a very professional stream. It's going to be very high quality. The production value is going to be very high. And this is seemingly because they actually canceled multiple planned events earlier this year because they just weren't happy with the idea of having a at-home type of presentation, and they wanted it to just come off very professional. So I think this is pretty significant and pretty telling, and maybe lets us know what exactly we can expect at this June 3rd reveal in terms of production value and production quality. So we're going to talk about that. We're also talking about the console design. Is it going to be revealed during this presentation? And it seems likely, at least based off of what one individual is saying, that it should be, and it seems like we can actually expect that there. And then finally we're talking about the games, because PlayStation's official magazine, apparently, I don't know if it actually leaked out anything significant, but there's a list of like 38 next generation games contained within their July issue of their magazine that's going to be coming out. However, it is interesting that they don't have any Sony first party games on this list, probably because Sony is making sure not to share that information with anybody, so this is what we're going to be talking about. If you could do me a favor before we go any further, make sure you hit the like button to help the video out and show your support, and make sure you hit the subscribe button as well so you don't miss any future content. But starting here with this professional stream that Sony has planned, the reason for this, as I said, is because they just didn't want to do something that would be considered an at-home stream. And where this information is coming from is from Alana Pierce. She actually appeared on Kinda Funny Games Daily, and this is exactly what she had to say. Sony has tried to do presentations already this year, and I know this from developers who were supposed to be part of those presentations but didn't, because for some reason, somewhere in the Sony hierarchy, they were very obsessed with the idea of having a very, very, very professional stream rather than something previously recorded. So they weren't willing to do anything outside of a massive studio with a crew of like 25 to 30 people, which for those devs who were planning to have their games revealed at those certain streams, it was very frustrating because they were like, I don't understand why we can't just send you this footage and have our marketing guy on exactly as planned. But PlayStation just wasn't having the at-home quality stuff. They were refusing to do it. So I feel like maybe this is actually going to be huge. Now, that's obviously a very telling quote right there, because Alana Pierce, she's somebody that clearly has industry contacts. She clearly talks to a lot of developers, and she's revealing this, and what she's taking away from this, as she says at the end here, is that she's starting to feel like because of this is going to be pretty huge. And I actually really like this. I do believe this, and it makes a lot of sense. This would also explain why we've had so many rumors earlier this year that just every week there was like a new one popping up and nothing ever happened. And I'm sure there is some truth to some of those rumors where, yeah, Sony was planning to do something at these specific times earlier this year. But as you can see here, Sony, the hierarchy there, was just absolutely refusing to have something that looked low quality or came off as at-home quality, and they wanted to wait until they felt comfortable enough where they could actually do something that has high production value. And I have to tell you guys, I really like the sound of this, because in my opinion, that's what people are expecting. That's what people want. And I think Sony has kind of proven that they know mostly what people are expecting, what they want to see. They've proven recently just by showing gameplay after gameplay reveal that this is how you sell your games. And so the fact that they seemingly understand that what their audience and what the general core gaming audience is expecting is a big presentation, something that's very showy. And I know that there's some people who are going to be like, oh no, we don't need that. But no, you have to admit that now that E3 pretty much isn't here anymore, there has to be some big events, and there has to be some players within the game that have these big events, right? And so it just sounds like Sony wants this to be the exact opposite of how a lot of other companies have been dealing with it, where I don't think you're going to see people on webcams talking to one another. I think it's going to be very high production, high quality, and it's going to come off as something very exciting and very showy, and I love the idea of that. I think that that's just going to make it that much more exciting. So I thought that this was pretty significant information to go over because, as I said, I think it gives us a pretty good idea of what we can expect with this event. Alana Pierce is starting to think, based off of what she's heard from developers that she talks to, that it's going to be pretty huge, and I'm inclined to agree with that. It is starting to seem like this is going to be a pretty huge event. So moving on from that, we are talking about the PlayStation 5 console design, and the reveal apparently is near, and this comes from a Bloomberg reporter. Now, this is coming from the Bloomberg reporter Takahashi Makazuki. Hopefully I'm saying their name correctly and not butchering it. But this is what he said. I expect official PlayStation 5 design is near anyway, because as I wrote in this article, mass production is starting, and that means leak risk of console/a console image. And, you know, he's basically just trying to convey here that there's a very high chance that because these consoles are starting mass production, that they're going to leak out. And he says here, given that Sony is trying to stay ahead of the curve, the reveal shouldn't be too far away. Now, I know that this is a pretty small quote, but I think it makes a lot of sense. Now, he's not really coming off here as if he knows for a fact. He's not conveying this information in that way, but I do think he makes a lot of sense, and this is something that maybe I think a lot of us didn't really consider. At least it wasn't something that was at the forefront of my mind, where, yeah, actually, we know that these consoles are going to be entering mass production. They have to in order to be ready for their holiday 2020 launch. And when you think about that, yeah, Sony does have to worry about if they want to wait to show the console. There's a very, very high chance, a much higher chance, that the final design and the final look of this console is actually going to leak out. And in my opinion, that's definitely something that Sony does not want to happen. They want to make sure that when the console is revealed, it's coming from them. And so that's why I'm starting to actually believe that we are in fact going to see the console design fully revealed at this June 3rd event. I mean, to be completely honest with you, it would be a little bit off-putting if Sony had their first big PS5 reveal event and the focus was on the next generation games, but they didn't actually show the console. I mean, I would still be very happy, of course, but it would be a little bit off-putting, like, oh, but where's the console, right? Like, at this point, people are expecting it. So at this point, I'm going to say I think it is likely that we're going to see the console revealed officially on June 3rd with this big event. So that's my take on it, and I'm going to be interested to see what you guys have to say about it. And finally, we're talking about 38 upcoming PS5 games, apparently a list leaked from the next issue of the official PlayStation Magazine, and it says here, remember back when it was promised that official PlayStation Magazine would host a huge blowout of PS5 games in its next issue? The July issue is going on sale very soon. Well, it seems that the digital version of that issue has now started to leak out. First, the cover that it contained looks at 38 PS5 games. The screenshots of the inner pages show the full list of all 38 games. Curiously, there are no first-party Sony games on this list, making it unlikely that it's tied to the recent reports of an early June console reveal. The issue is available before the reported June 3rd PS5 reveal date, and Sony wouldn't want to tip its hand by having its biggest announcements leak via scans of a magazine. The list also has a bunch of already known games, cross-gen releases, and ports of current generation experiences. There aren't any earth-shattering reveals or big unknowns here, and some titles feel like they were included just to bolster the list's big numbers. Looking at you, Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield, why include anything that's a big question mark for more than a year after next-gen launches? So, I just wanted to take time to highlight this because I saw a lot of people talking about this and a lot of people kind of running with it, where they're assuming that because this magazine is affiliated with Sony and it is the official PlayStation magazine, that every game that's on this list of the 38 games is going to be at this reveal event. And I want to take this opportunity to kind of calm people down a little bit and let you know that, yeah, we're definitely not going to see every single game that's on this list. You do have to realize that some of the games, maybe even a lot of the games that they're putting on this list, are just games that we know at some point are going to make it onto the next generation PlayStation console, but there's absolutely no guarantee that what we're seeing here is going to be on stage or at this presentation stream that Sony's going to be doing. Now, I'm not going to list every game here because there's a lot. There's 38, as I said. I will have this article linked down below, though, so you can go check it out for yourself. And as it does mention here, there are no first-party games here, and we already know for a fact that Sony is absolutely not going to host a PlayStation 5 reveal event and not show off new first-party games. So that should tell you right off the bat that this is something that is not directly in line with what Sony is planning. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the official PlayStation Magazine, the people who run it, they probably don't know Sony's plans, right? So they're probably doing the exact same thing we are, where they're just making their best guesses. The only game here that I can see probably that I could say 100% for sure will be at this PlayStation 5 event is going to be Godfall on this list. Other than that, you know, they have like The Sims 5, you know, again, Starfield, stuff like that. It's hard to say, is that going to be there? We don't know. It's anybody's guess. But I had to take time to mention this because, again, a lot of people were talking to me about it. A lot of people were mentioning it. And some people were looking at this as this is the official confirmed list of games that's going to be at the PS5 event. But I certainly would not look at it that way. To be honest, I think very few people know exactly what games are going to be there. And I highly doubt it's going to leak out at least the entirety of the list of games that's going to be there before the show. So that's pretty much going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. And at this point, I'm going to ask you to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think about Sony going all out for this event and this stream, trying to make it as professional as possible? Let me know what you think about whether or not we're going to see the console design revealed on June 3rd, and let me know what you think about this list of 38 upcoming PlayStation 5 games. Just let me know your general thoughts on that. Again, leave the video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already, hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.